people, if they thought of Alaska at all, thought of it as a cold, rugged wasteland. Now, suddenly, it seemed to have considerable additional value.
When you think of Alaska and U.S. politics, you know you think of this moment.
I believe that diplomacy should be the cornerstone of any foreign policy.
And I can see Russia from my house.
Tina Fey's 2008 SNL impression of Alaska Governor and GOP vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin has become an indelible meme in U.S. political history. But here's the thing. Palin never actually said it.
What insight into Russian actions, particularly in the last couple of weeks, does the proximity of the state give you?
They're our next-door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
But of course, foreign policy is about more than proximity. Still, Palin wasn't entirely wrong about that either, and 16 years after that infamous line, amid Russia's growing territorial aggression and a fast-warming Arctic, Alaska's physical place in the world has become more geopolitically relevant than ever. Alaska's northern coastline makes the U.S. one of 6 countries with exclusive economic zones in the Arctic Circle. Now, no country owns the North Pole. It isn't even land. It's constantly shifting sea ice, which we're just gonna melt anyway. But as that happens, the Arctic is opening up, and countries are now racing to lay claim to untapped deposits of oil, natural gas, and rare earth minerals, newly accessible shipping routes, and strategic military positions between North America and Eurasia. Russia is winning by most metrics. The Russian government has more than 36 polar icebreakers in its fleet. That's compared to 2, not 24, 2 in the United States, giving it strategic and operational advantage. Russia accounts for nearly half the Arctic population, more than half its coastline, and it dominates Arctic industry. And Moscow has spent years building up military outposts in the region as polar ice melts and its northern waters become exposed. Russia's also increasing cooperation in the region with China, which sees the Arctic as an important part of its strategic, economic, and environmental interests, and it's believed to be exploring a military presence there. Now, historically, critical issues like environmental protection, indigenous rights, sustainable development have all been managed through the Arctic Council, and that's an intergovernmental forum of Arctic states and indigenous peoples. But ever since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the Council's work has ground to a stop. NATO countries suspended political-level meetings with Moscow, and all international research projects have been put on hold. And that's kind of a blow to climate science. Until Arctic states can find a way to work together, rising tensions and a zero-sum game of territorial ambition is going to give the most remote part of the planet a lot more of our attention.